Alright YouTube, this is YaknDan with another quick tip. As you can see right here, I found a weakness in Feel Free Lures. I've repaired that spot, just needs to be sanded down, but if you look directly below it, right here is another bad spot. If you see a scratch and you think that it's a leak, all you gotta do is push on it and you'll feel give. There's a few steps that you can do to do this on your own for really cheap. The first one is to find the end of the crack, take a needle, a decent sized gauge needle, put it in where the crack ends, and you put a little hole there, and the same right here. Those little holes stop the crack from spreading. So then all you have to do is, I got a 5-gallon bucket that was really old and it started to crack. So I've got little plastic pieces, and this one's going to be kind of tricky because it sits right there where my seat goes in. So basically what you do now is you take something and you just scratch across the whole area. Get some pretty good scratches in there. Sandpaper works, but I'm all out of that. This is going to save you a bunch of money. And then go ahead and scratch all around that guy, because you're going to be putting a bunch more plastic in there, okay? And make sure your surface is rough. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there, it's nice and scratched up, good to go. Normally if you have a heat gun, you would heat that area up, but unfortunately I cannot find mine, and I don't have enough money right now to go out and buy one, so I take the next best thing, a soldering iron. And what I do is I just rub real lightly across it. Get that plastic good and hot and get it melted in there. And you'll know when your plastic is ready to be mated with more plastic, because it gets warm and pliable and soft. Now normally a lot of people would think, hey, that looks good enough, it's fixed. But I got news for you. It's not. This here in the Feel Free Lures is really thin plastic, I found. But it still works. I was noticing a bunch of water getting in my hole. Filled my kayak up with water, and lo and behold, this one was leaking. This one wasn't yet, but it was going to give way. So it's time just to reinforce. It's just about been 6 months since I've had this kayak, so if something's going to happen, it was bound to happen in this time frame. I use the heck out of this thing. Every time I go fishing, I'm outing it, and I love the dickens out of it. So next step, I don't know, maybe I can put you here and get a good video of it. I take a lighter and I heat up my bits of plastic, and be careful not to burn yourselves because you are playing with fire and extremely hot plastic. And you can get it to where it starts to turn clear if you're using a white plastic. And then you smear it on. Don't worry if you put too much on, because chances are it's not going to be too much when you work it all in. Like that. Alright. Careful of the lighter, it's going to be hot. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, I think I'm good to go for work area now. Leave that there. Now, start working in the edges of the melted plastic that you put on your kayak. Make those work into the kayak's shell. And I highly suggest, if you have a heat gun, to use that instead of a soldering iron, because it's real easy to burn a hole and you might make a worse mess, an unfixable mess, if you're not careful. Okay. Now you notice as you work your kayak's plastic with heat that you're going to get dips. Kind of like that. So beware of that. When it all comes back and cools off, it should pop right back up. But I really don't want to put too much plastic right here, because my seat rests in this bar, back part of my seat. So I'm trying to be very sparingly, but I know I've got to build that area up. This other side straight across doesn't have this issue, but if I ever do get that issue, I'll be able to fix it.